Hello sisters, today we're going to be talking about the Aquarian new moon. And if we are really truly moving into the age of Aquarius, what does that actually mean? Not just for the collective, which is all what Aquarian is all about, it's the collective hive type mindset instead of the Piscean me and my type mindset. If we're moving into this age of Aquarius that's all about community, growth, groups and that collective consciousness, what does that actually mean for you? So let's talk about this Aquarian new moon, our first new moon for 2023. Let's get started. Our first new moon for 2023 is the beautiful new moon in Aquarius happening at 1 degree of Aquarius. And this potent and powerful new moon, there is so much happening in this first half of this year. Even kind of if we start back in December when Jupiter went into its first next 12-year cycle, there is so much impetus of moving forward. There's so much around this whole age of Aquarius and how can we move from the I and me thinking from the Piscean age to this Aquarian age of it's more about the good of all mindset. And what does that actually mean for all of us? This whole new moon energy is so beautiful. It's very, very deep and powerful. The new moon is sitting there with Black Moon Lilith, which is one of our goddess asteroids, and she asks us about birth, death and renewal. And she also asks us a lot about what are the family patternings that we are taking from our matriarchal linear line into this lifetime, and do you actually choose to keep living those out or not? And also this new moon sits conjunct Pluto. So there's the god Hades, the god of the underworld. It's like this deep, dark excavation of what have I learnt in that Piscean age. All of your life so far has been the Piscean age. And as we're moving into this age of Aquarius, the rest of your life will be now into this age of Aquarius. And whether we have or haven't quite moved in there yet, some are saying that March, with all of its amazing energy of, I think Saturn moves into Aquarius, and also Pluto. So Pluto moves into Aquarius and Saturn moves signs as well. And these big, bold planets potentially might be that true beginning of the age of Aquarius. However, regardless of when, whether this be a new moon, whether this be the age of Aquarius, whether this be a full moon or anything, there is kind of like this lead up, this energy starts to build and grow and come towards this event, this time in space that happens, it peaks at one time, and then it stops and starts to kind of decline and move away. It's like this beautiful bell curve. So when we're talking about this age of Aquarius and we're talking about this new moon, we've been in this new moon. Today I'm recording this new moon on the 21st of January, and the new moon is happening tomorrow morning at 7:53 a.m. Australian Daylight Savings Time, or Eastern Daylight Savings Time. But this energy's been around, kind of around from the 20th to really the 25th. And the Aquarius is, what I'm talking about with this bell curve is you feel the energy building, it peaks, and then you feel it decline. It's not just here it is and there it goes. So with this age of Aquarius, we've been feeling this for a long time. We've been feeling us coming in. And because these sort of astrological ages last a very, very long time, we've been feeling through our lifetime, glimpses of what this might look like. But now I truly feel like we're coming into it. And with this Aquarian new moon, there's just this beautiful, airy feeling of inspiration and intellect that allows us to kind of look outside of ourselves and see within our life, where can we bring people together? Where can we find new solutions for old problems? what are our unique philosophies, and with the incredible intelligence and wild imagination of the Aquarian energy, we can get rebellion, we can get this amazing, I have had enough energy that brings humanity back together for the betterment of all. And this new moon is exactly that energy. It's about regeneration. It's like that whole cycle in life. This new moon begins, it grows. The new moon begins with a seed that we plant as our intention. And as it grows into the crescent moon, the first quarter moon, the waxing gibbous moon, into the full moon peak of illumination and manifestation, and then the decline, the waning moon, the seminating, the e-quarter moon, balsamic moon and dark moon. This cycle happens with everything in life. It just has different different timings. And this moon in herself, today, right now, we are in the dark moon before the new moon peaks. And this is a really, really beautiful time every month to release and let go of all that you do not wish to take into that next cycle with you. But this period of darkness and rest that comes before the beginning of a new cycle is about truly stopping and preparing and consciously making a decision, a choice, an effort to put some energy into new moon intentions, to put some energy into ritual and ceremony, and making this time and space aligned with your inner world and your outer world. Because as much as I'm talking about the new moon in Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, these are just portals of energy within our own bodies, because what the universe that is without or around us is also exists within. This is, comes back to my Chinese medicine that I've studied and practiced for over 20 years, but that, as above, so below, as within, so without. And this incredible time in history is feeling like we have this chance right now to be born again, to use this energy as a new beginning for growth and a fresh start. This energy really kind of allows this new moon energy and the Aquarian energy, and allows the airy nature of Aquarius to create something in your life that may not have ever existed before. It can be about seeing the world through a different lens. And that's the whole thing that Awakened Divine Feminine is all about. It's about starting to live from your core instead of your conditioning. And this is where we start to, instead of looking through the frame or the lens that our conditioning and our upbringing and our culture and our family and our society have given us and have told us what we're capable of and what we're not, and what we're worthy of and what we're not, we actually start to be able to break out of that frame, change those rose-colored glasses into something different, and start to see things in a new light. And the beautiful energy around this Aquarian new moon is that you can start to say, great, the energy's here, and there's impetus, there's energy, there's momentum to help you in this waxing, growing period of the moon to truly put this into action. Because not only does Aquarius new moon have all of this beautiful growth and, bringing together of humanity and groups and creating new problems, creating new solutions for old problems. And, really, Aquarius is about who am I in my unique and individual self, and how can I fly my freak flag and share what I have learnt in this world with others for the betterment of the whole. Because you see, we have Uranus that is also going direct like an hour after this new moon. And that Uranus energy is so much about, individuality and change as well. So that it gives this kind of new moon extra oomph and extra impetus. And I'm really loving that word impetus today, so let's fly with that. But we also have Saturn and Venus are also playing parts in this new moon as well. And so that can kind of come back to, what are the structures I can put in place around my desires, and maybe with this Uranian energy as well, do I need to shift and change those structures and desires to truly align with who I am instead of maybe aligning with the status quo? So that, again, bringing that back to when it aligns with me so that I can then share this into the world. Because, working with the moon and being able to truly come into understanding that by working with the lunar cycle, by working with your menstrual cycle, which, they are exactly the same cycle that follows what's called an infradian rhythm. And that infradian rhythm, which is a 27 to 29 day cycle, allows you to follow what would also be called the manifestation cycle, that cycle of birth, growth, full bloom, decay and death, followed again by rebirth, growth, full bloom, decay and death. This cycle, as I said before, is exactly the same cycle for all things in life. They just have different time frames that move through this cycle, like every day, every month, every lunar cycle, every season, it all moves through that same wheel of life. So when we think about Aquarius, let's look at some kind of key words here for Aquarius. And I would say there is a lot of individuality, rebellion, and a bringing together of a whole, bringing together of who you are as an individual self, and what it is that with your imagination and curiosity, generosity, humanitarianism, innovative, inspired service, your purposeful, revolutionary and free thinking, they're the words that kind of come up for me when I think about our Aquarian energy. And I am an Aquarius, so I love this season, and I am feeling the feels of moving up towards my birthday, which is happening just before the full moon on the 2nd of February. Thank you very much. Which is interesting because in Australia here, that's around the time of Lamas as well. So I will jump on for a podcast around that time and talk to you about Lamas and what it means and what that solar festival is all about and how you can create a ritual around it for yourself. But for now, let's go back into the Aquarian. And all those words I just said, they describe me to my core. My beautiful astrology mentor, Lynn Smith from Brisbane, look her up, she's amazing. She has taught me through the eyes or the frame of astrology to understand that my freak flag, which is the term she and I use when we talk about bringing the individuality and not wanting to be part of the status quo and seeing what is my uniqueness and what's my gifts. And ultimately, as I fly that freak flag, I'm showing others how they too can be in their own personal power, accessing their own gifts and trusting themselves enough to actually be of service to the world. And that doesn't mean you need all the that you don't need the university degrees and the certifications and the accolades. That's like the old history. That's all the old ways of how we used to measure our rate of success or acknowledgement by others was because of what we'd done. But when we start to look into this, I feel the age of Aquarius and also the rise of the feminine, the resurgence of the goddess, we're starting to look more and probably value more of what is called your her story. And that's your experiences. That's your beautiful way in which you have embodied the lessons you have learned, the experiences you've undergone, and all the things you've been through on a more feeling, embodied, personal level that's made you the person you are today. And that her story for me is very much about how we move kind of from that Capricorn feeling of, sharing your gifts with the world. Capricorn energy of, striving and moving. She's like the mountain goat. So, and excuse me for using the terms she, he, and all that stuff. I often use she for everything just because I work in the feminine and I work with women, and it sometimes just slips out. So if that offends anyone, I do apologize. But when the Capricorn energy, that mountain goat or the sea goat, happy in land and happy in water, but it's striving to become something, striving to learn through the Sagittarian area, then striving to become it, what you've learned. You've learned it all in the Sagittarius area. You've kind of becoming it in, and, really honing your skills in Capricorn. And now we're moving into Aquarius, where we want to share what you have learnt with the world. And it's so funny, I'm sitting here, I'm not recording myself in video, but I am moving my arms around it, and it is quite funny. I'm kind of laughing at myself. But let's have a look at, this Aquarian energy just a little bit more. And ultimately, I want to kind of think about the world outside of ourselves and how we can kind of think about what's happening in our world and how we individually can make a difference so that we're actually calling on this Aquarian energy. Why is there so much fighting? Why is there so much darkness? And mind you, darkness is not bad. Darkness is, just the polar opposite to light, and without darkness there is no light. But why is there so much negativity? Why is there so much fear and greed and hatred? And often, I wonder why there's so much pain. And there is so many questions that kind of, I'd love to go off on a tangent here, but I will not. Because that's not what today's, podcast is all about. What I would like to just get you thinking about is that in this world right now, there is disconnection, there's discord, there's ultimately this chaos moving around us. But in that chaos, we can choose, or we have the opportunity to rise above all of that negative outside noise and tune into an ability to receive guidance from your higher self so that you can serve humanity from a place of true self-awareness and self-understanding. So ultimately, if we don't spend the time to do the work, we tend to get caught in the storm, and the storm we tend to then contribute to and become the storm ourselves. But ultimately, the storm, which is the kind of negativity and discord and dysfunction in our world, it does serve a purpose in some way, shape or form. And we can't overlook it, suppress it, bypass it, or just shut it out, ignore it. We have to look at it and say, what is it that I can do in my divine nature, in my divine gifts, to be able to hold space for the healing of this planet? And you can do this by choosing how you engage with this storm, whether you get caught on those trains of fear and doubt and negativity, or whether you choose love. Because as Bruce Lipton says, if you don't know his work, he's amazing. The Biology of Belief is an amazing book that if you haven't read, please do so. It changed my world. There are two states of energy in this world. There is love and there is fear. And no matter what living thing is exposed to these energies, if something is exposed to the vibrational energy of love, it moves towards it. If something is exposed to the vibrational energy of fear, it moves away from it. So when we come into fear, ultimately also what we put our attention on, energy goes to that and then it grows. So if we're putting our attention onto all this fear and chaos and drama, then we're creating more fear, chaos, and drama. But if we choose to take action, we don't become the storm, but we can sit outside of it and really feel into our own truth within this storm and ask ourselves, what can we do to help the healing of this time? One of the things I believe that our society needs right now is more discussions around death, and absolutely more discussions around menopause, but that's going to be another podcast for a very soon time, a time shortly. But if we started to talk about death, if we started to, instead of shutting our old people away in nursing homes and had them helping to raise our children, instill wisdom and giving back to humanity through what they have learnt, death wouldn't be so scary. But it's when we don't talk about things, we create this fear. And then people move away from it, and then we don't want to talk about it anymore. So what we need to do is look at the world and understand that it can be an immensely beautiful place. That when we choose love and tune into that higher vibrational state of self, you will be able to get the understanding, the message, the download of what it is that you can do in this time to support humanity, to support your community, to support the world in its healing. So, the truth is, for thousands of years where we've kind of been in this patriarchal down spiral where, it's like, us against the world or me against the world. But when we want to bring people back together, we don't want to divide and conquer anymore. We don't want to enslave or have this kind of hierarchical system. We want to change the system so that a revolution can take place, a movement. And by doing that, it's almost like we have to come back into compassion for the suffering that this patriarchal system has created over the years. And instead of dropping into the empathy and feeling all of the pain, we step into ourselves and ask ourselves with empathy and passion, which is where the word compassion comes from. We ask ourselves how to be shown our own personal truth so that we can inspire, heal, and hold space for the world to be a different place. Because the world will change if we change one person at a time. So when we are able to do that and move through this world with Aquarian's compassion and inspiration and, individualism and, creating this ability to, give new structure to old things and bring everyone back together. We want to be able to break the mold. And that is what Aquarius is asking us. She's an air sign, so she's quite intellectual. So during this time, do beware of, making things overly intellectual and forgetting about the body. I am all about embodiment, and please stay in your body, but allow your body to direct you to, and your mind direct you to this ability to be, imaginative, dreaming a new dream, thinking about what it is that you can contribute to this world. And, this humanitarian age of Aquarius, we're going to heal the division and renew trust as we kind of bring ourselves together and remember that we have shared values, we have shared dreams. We cannot do this on our own, but as a collective, we will heal our world. And with our, new moon visions and our, full moon manifestations and our full moon and new moon prayers, every single thing we do for ourselves on this path of alignment towards your true self is a massive step in the right direction to you being able to really feel into what this energy of this new moon is offering to you. And as this new moon, flows through the whole, the energy of this new moon flows through the whole of this lunation cycle by, I can't remember the exact date, but Mercury and Mars have stationed direct over the last week, but they're both moving so slowly. This is like also Uranus moving direct like an hour after this new moon. It's like, let's go energy. It's like, it's slow, but it's like, yes, I'm ready. Let's move forward. How can I, and with this slowness of this forward moving, it's like, as I'm slowly getting this impetus to move forward and this motivation to step up into my fullness and come out into the world, what are the tools and lessons that I've learned throughout her story, throughout my life, that are going to give me the ability to be in this body, to be in this life from a place of true authenticity and from a place of, divine alignment, from personal power. Because there's also with the Black Moon Lilith kind of a question. We're also looking at Black Moon Lilith with Pluto, with Saturn, with Uranus, with Venus, all playing parts in this. Where am I giving away my power? Where does my power flow through me? And how can I reclaim that through the gifts and tools that I have gathered throughout my life? So with this all systems go, I kind of believe this Aquarian new moon is a bit of a springboard into this slowly gathering our toolbox, slowly gathering our medicine pouch. And then in March we have this explosion of mass amounts of energy moving forward. And it's like catapulting us forward and going, yes, I am ready. And we kind of have that ability in this being ready to then go, all right, cool. I've felt into who I am. I've learnt so many of my lessons, and I'm going to continue to learn these lessons. But as I learn them, then I'm going to be able to move them out into the world and share them to heal this world, to bring about equality and to make this world a beautiful place. So just to finish our podcast for today, I kind of feel like I've gone off in way too many tangents, but it's kind of like the Aquarian thing. I am so feeling it. And I just want to kind of give you a bit of a creative visualization to feel into before I sign off. So if you're in a safe place to do so, if you're not, keep driving the car, keep your eyes on the road, keep focused on what you're doing. But if not, if you are in a safe place to do so, kind of invite you for a moment to close your eyes. Imagine for a moment every person in this world vibrating in an energy state of love, where our dreams become honored as sacred, important, and revolutionary, where that knowing deep down that we were destined for more is supported and held by the universe and by our community. And as we're held, we can envision now every woman, every man on this planet living their purpose and being able to make their unique contribution to creating a better world for us all. Imagine every single person knowing the depth and breadth and beauty of their own unique individual personality, their own individual vibration, and everyone, including ourselves, see that as a positive, so that we know that our dreams that we are dreaming, that our visions that we have, that our freak flag that we want to fly has power and potency to heal this world. Imagine the whole of humanity rising above the mundane stress, that day-to-day autopilot. Imagine getting rid of the arguments and the emotional triggers. Imagine healing our ancestral wounds so that we recognize that we are all on the same team and that we're here to support each other and to give back to this beautiful planet upon which holds and supports us every single day. Feel into the magic and the power of every one of us harnessing our unique vibrational inner vision so that we can all be of service to not only ourselves but to each other in a beautiful, unique and innovative world of growth and development, of openness and compassion, so that we can manifest the life that we know we were born to live. And this beautiful new world supports us in living it. It brings us all together in a way that feels natural and normal. To be able to say, I am awesome, and everyone says, yes, you are. To say, I am beautiful, and everyone says, yes, you are. To have an opinion and be honored for that, even if it differs from the person next to you. As you envision all of this, come into alignment now with your breath. So much so that you feel your body expanding as you breathe in. You feel yourself giving as you breathe out. Receive and expand on the way in. Exhaling and giving out. And in this breath, you receive all of this energy flowing back to you that you have just imagined and envisioned for your world. Feel it flowing through your body as you align to your deepest and highest truth. As you step into your unique vibrational blueprint so that you can tap into your own inner inspiration, your own inner dreaming, your imagination, and really sit in that place where love and joy and peace are flowing through you. And from this moment, I invite you to take a pen and paper and write your intention for this new moon. Bring this intention from your heart down your arm and into your pen. Let your soul write what is truly alive for you right now. And then surround this intention once you have it with light and love. Imagine it a seed. Breathe deep and plant that seed beneath your feet. Plant it within your heart. Plant it within your womb. Know that this seed is being fueled and nourished by the energy of this visualization, by the energy of you moving with the moon. And you know within you that it will blossom. So take a moment now and feel this intention blossoming into its fullest potential. And when you're ready, take a deep breath and gently open your eyes. Happy new moon blessings to you all. If any of you would like to get your hands on ritual suggestions for all of our new moons and sit in live Sacred Women's Circle with me online for our full moons, you can join Lunar Woman. The membership is below. You will also receive ritual suggestions for all of our solar festivals, our solstices and equinoxes and Lammas and Beltane and Halloween, Samhain, and Imbolc as well. And if you are yearning to come together in sisterhood in the next couple of weeks, I will be launching another round of Rise, Woman Rise, which is the online version of Sacred Awakening that flows through the wheel of the year and helps to reclaim the wisdom and knowledge of your own personal power, so that we can stop being in constant emotional triggered land so that we can become the true and authentic versions of ourselves that we know deep down that we were destined to become. And when we do this in sisterhood, we get to visit or revisit, if you're lucky enough to have rites of passage through the major life transitions of your life, when you received your first bleed, that time where you innately met your power as a young woman. If you didn't receive that rite of passage, we go through that rite of passage. If you were not acknowledged and celebrated and honoured as a mother when you gave birth, if you gave birth or gave birth to your businesses or your projects or whatever that might be, then we move through these rites of passage and we access the gifts and wisdom within us through our chakra systems, through goddess archetypes, through the astrological wheel. And we get to know our sacred wounds, our kind of core blueprint, so that we can work with what we came into this life to learn. Instead of feeling like the world is against you, you use this knowledge to be able to open yourself to greater potential. So if you are interested in jumping on the wait list for that fills up really quickly because it is limited spaces to hold a really safe and sacred container. So there'll be a little email address down below to email that you are interested in that. So if that's you, then jump in quickly, because whoever jumps on that wait list will receive the first invitation for that when it arises. And last but not least, I will see you when I see you, where I see you. And I thank you for being with me today, and blessings to your new moon. I love you, sister, and goodbye. Mwah.